Well, we'll just dive in. My name is Taylor Gallegos. I'm a local artist, muralist, painter. This is my first year on the Art Walk committee, which I'm very pumped on. Yeah, it's super fun. Just like Lynn said, it's a blast. It's a lot of excited, talented, creative people, and there's a lot of cool stuff going on. And we're diving into the first Friday experience here. And the idea is to have these meetings, these Zoom meetings with the artists in the creators circle, um, a few days before each art walk. That way we can all connect, get on the same page, kind of be yeah, get excited together. And then also we're gonna have a speaker each time with a topic, and then there'll be a question and answer, and then it'll just be a free flow, open conversation after that. And we can stay on as long as we want for that. So to start out with this first meeting, the thought was to have the founders of the Art Walk speak and tell a little bit about where we are now, what's going on, and then also a little bit of the history of it. So without further ado, Dawn Tappan, would you like to start?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll go ahead and start with a little bit of history. And if I miss something, Bridget or Cynthia can fill in since they've been around since the very beginning. So I'm Dawn Tappan. I am the manager of the Art Walk, and I've been on board for about 3 years now. Our first Art Walk was in August of 2014, a little more open venues around the downtown Oceanside area would host artists and musicians and activating community. 2017, which I recently just found out about, Oceanside was designated as one of the first California cultural districts, which is pretty awesome. I did not know that. Um, and then, like a lot of public events, COVID kind of put a little pause and we reignited in 2022-ish. And now we focus more on Artist Alley and the Civic Center, not as much outside venues hosting artists. We keep it a little more contained. This year we're excited. We've started a after art walk concert series that will be in the library on their community stage. OMA is jumped on board for 4 out of our 6 months doing their street level. So they'll be participating with art talks and um, a bar, live music, and then a couple of our vendors will also be on their terrace. And then we've also are doing these Zoom calls, which are it's gonna be great. Build community, help us with our business. So yeah. And I'm a local artist. These are my paintings behind me.
Heck yeah. And Dawn, you're super helpful. You've been awesome in helping me kind of like find my way in this whole situation. And yeah, it's been awesome working with
Thank,
you so far.
thank you.
Bridget, would you like to say some words?
Sure, just a little intro. So Bridget Parsons, I'm kind of help to run it a little bit, kind of in the background. And I've been around since the beginning. Well, I was in the beginning. I helped kind of start it and then walked away from it for a couple of years, and then just 3 years ago, re-engaged when the previous organization decided that they needed to pass it on to someone else. So yeah, it's just so great. I wanted to also mention the cultural district is our sponsor, so they actually make it so that we can put on this and kind of pay the musicians and pay some of the management and stuff because we want to make sure that this is an area, make sure that our city it becomes normal to compensate the artists and the management and for art organizations and art activities. So also I'm on the Arts Commission. I'm the chair of the Arts Commission, and I work with Main Street Oceanside on their design committee, which is the one that chose the tunnel for the transit center that's going to be going in over the summer. And yeah, I'm just really excited about how the arts are really activating and energizing downtown, especially, but throughout the city as well.
Thanks, Bridget. And yeah, Bridget, I got to have coffee with you and CJ when I first started getting involved. And when you were talking about the art walk, you got, I'm going to say this I hope it's okay. I'm saying this, but you got emotional about it. And it was so sweet. And it was so cool to see somebody involved in something like this and like feel so much passion about it. And that's what we all feel for our own art. And that's how you feel for the art of the city. And it's really cool. Like for me to see that out of you. So kudos, cheers. Does anyone else on the art walk committee want to say anything at this point? It's there if you want it. All right, cool. Well, next, I was thinking that what we could do is start with an introduction. We can go around the Zoom room and introduce ourselves. We're all part of the Creators Circle now. We are all artists or team members on the Oceanside Art Walk. So, part of this concept of these Zoom meetings, is to get to know each other so that when we all get to the art walk, it's not like a bunch of individuals just kind of like set up at their booth. It's a team, and we're all swimming in the same direction for the same purposes together. So um, I can go first. Here's my thought. We'll say your full name, say where you're from originally, what kind of medium you work in, and then say what your like art superpower is, like what your specialty is. Um, so my name is Taylor Gallegos. I'm originally from Boulder, Colorado, moved to North County in 2011. I make paintings and drawings, and I would say that my specialty is sort of a blending of like abstraction and realism together.
My name's Dawn Tappan. I was born in San Antonio, Texas, but grew up in Long Beach, California. I've been in Oceanside since 2019. I am a process-based abstract painter. I paint in acrylic, and I would say my superpower is color.
I would say maybe just popcorn in, or I could call on people. I don't know which is easier.
I'll
Uh,
talk. My name is Ivy Hall. You can't see me because for some reason my camera is not working. I was born in Newport Beach. I've been started out as a photographer, taught myself how to draw, then paint, and went into digital photography, and now I'm a digital fine artist, and I do the I do the graphics for the social media for Art Walk. Well, my superpower? I don't know. I've got too many things on the fire to just pick one.
Well, the graphics are looking awesome. And special note about the graphics, Ivy's made a ton of new imagery for all of us to download and then share on our own social channels, so that we're all adding to the whole mix and spreading the word together. So very good work, Ivy.
Thank you.
Yeah. Next.
Well, since I already talked, I won't talk too much, but Bridget Parsons, and I was originally born and raised in little steel town, Phoenixville, Pennsylvania, and I moved to California in '92, and I do some photography, but mostly I'm all about collaboration.
Hi, I'm Lynn Abate Johnson, and I make jewelry. I make jewelry out of the Paua shell from New Zealand that I brought back from New Zealand, and so I string it up. I'm also a local author with 2 international best-selling books. So I'm out there signing my books and slinging jewelry. Um, I was born in Detroit, Michigan, but also raised in Southern California, and I live in South O. Oh, my superpower is in my writing and in my jewelry making. I actually write and make jewelry that I resonate with, and there's a lot of truth telling in my work. So um, I embrace lots of life happening. As we know, life just keeps getting more and more lifey, and so I pour that into my work from my heart.
Do you want me to go?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, my name is Susan Gibson. Originally born in, well, I've only born once in Pomona, California, but I consider myself a Hoosier because I lived in Indiana most of my life. I've only been in Oceanside since December 20th.
Wow.
I do abstract acrylic, a lot of animals, different things. I push myself to do things I haven't done before, just to try and expand my abilities. Which sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And I think my superpower as far as art is the colors I use. They're bright. They're they make people smile. They make people happy. And people go by the harbor where I paint a lot of times during the day, and they know me. They know my cat Sal, and they watch the different work I do, and it's fun to watch the men that are out there fishing that come by and see what I'm doing, and other people, and it's been very inspiring. I think I'm done.
Great job.
Okay.
Next.
All right, I'll go next. My name's Andrea, and I am a local artist here in Oceanside, originally from Sacramento, California, but came down here to study art um, at San Diego State and kind of just ended up staying in Southern California. Um, so my art medium is acrylic, but I'm recently kind of playing with more like other mediums. I'm looking into like spray paint and stencils and things like that. So exploring. And I'd say that's probably like my superpower. I like to explore and I'm not afraid to like make a mistake when it comes to art. So yeah.
What's up, Kizzy? We're doing introductions. We're doing your full name, where you're from originally, what your medium is, and then what your superpower is.
Oh, wow. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Oh, you can hear me.
we can hear
Hey.
you.
All right. My name is Kizzy. I'm from San Diego. Um, what was the other questions? I'm sorry.
What's your medium?
It's
What's
my
your art?
medium.
What's your
Ah,
art?
music. Music is my art. And my superpower is good energy.
And Kizzy is our entertainment manager. She finds all of the musicians and dancers and brings them speakers and extension cords.
Extension cords, yeah. Important work, important work.
Yes. All right.
Sarah, Celine, Deborah,
Sarah, you want to go next?
here we go.
Thanks. I'm Sarah O'Connor. I'm from San Diego. I was born here. And I started oil painting when I was 8. I always wanted to be an art teacher, which I did for 15 years, but now I'm just painting full time for a couple years, and did have had a switch during COVID because they closed the ocean, so I couldn't surf. And my husband taught me how to use epoxy resin because he's a surfboard shaper in Oceanside too. So I started using epoxy oils, acrylic, did some collaborations on surfboards. It's been like a lot of outdoor surf themes, obviously, because that's what we do. Lots of lots of that. So thanks. This is really, really cool. I'm so proud of you guys for putting this together.
Hey,
And
what's
Sarah's painting is on our flyer for this year, the 2025 Oceanside flyer. Her beautiful painting of the ocean and the pier.
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It is awesome.
Did you say your superpower?
Yep.
Oh, my superpower. I'm always trying to do something different that I haven't seen someone do.
That's a good one.
But people have done everything, I found out.
All
So it's a challenge.
All right, who wants to go next? Cynthia?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know how to get my camera on. Actually had to download Zoom. I tell you, I'm been in California since 1960, a little older than most of you guys. Um, love the beach. Grew up here since I was 7 months old. Came from the East Coast originally. I am not a set artist, but I've taken many, many, many art classes. Thought I would go into either fashion or jewelry or art. However, I went into sales. So my superpower is kind of connection. So I am happy. I appreciate art. I wish I could do it better, but I can't. And I do love dabbling in oil because I'm a very slow painter with lots of paint. And oil is a good medium for me because I tried a Chinese brush and watercolor and I was not fast enough. I used to design jewelry at some of my jobs, which was thrilling that I could actually use some training in a job. But I think I'm just so proud of the artists that we've found locally and able to help them out in visual or the musicians. And I love being part of it. I love making other people successful and showcasing their work. And I hope artwork goes on for a long time.
Nice.
My superpower is just the connections. That's what I feel like where I should be.
Cool. Deborah, you want to go?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Deborah Chandler. I am originally from New York. The name of my company and my art is called Just Because Resin Art, and I do it just because I love it. My superpower, I guess, is trying to find the movement in resin and capture that one movement so that the people who see it can feel the movement as I'm creating the art. So really excited to be part of this community, and thank you so much for bringing me in.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'll go next. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Just making sure. My name is Celine, and I'm originally from France. I've been in the US 20 plus years, but California about 14 years now. And I just started to exhibit my art officially last year, thanks to Oceanside Art Walk. Very grateful, as my art was mostly for gifts. Like throughout my life, I've always been very creative, and more the past few years doing acrylics, and I do candles as well, and photography, inspirational cards, things like this. And superpower, I have to think for a moment. I think it's that I really do everything intuitively. There's no pressure for me. It's really a healing tool. And I mean, you cannot see my paintings right now, but it's really about transformation and love and giving. And I love beauty. So my picture is really a lot with nature and the power of words for healing. So yeah, I guess that would be it. And thank you, yeah, for what you do, because this is like a kind of a dream come reality for me to finally exhibit my creations and share, and to have the feedback last year was just so wonderful. So I'm excited for Friday.
Nice. Ivy, somehow you're
Upside
upside
down.
down.
Upside down.
You're making me dizzy, Ivy.
I've never seen that before.
Are you doing a handstand?
I'm trying to figure out my camera. For some reason, it's upside down. At least I got it to work.
At least we saw you.
Who else is on here? It looks like we have a bunch of names of people who are on the call.
I think only just Marietta.
Mariana?
And maybe Catherine. Yeah.
Marietta, you want to go?
I can go. This is Catherine.
Oh.
Um,
Catherine.
hello. So my name's Catherine Kennedy, and I am originally from Orange County near like Cypress, Garden Grove area. And I paint with oils. I paint representationally, and I also like a few others have mentioned, I also really like playing with bright colors and using color palettes that are a little bit less traditional and really bright. So, yeah. And this is my third season coming to participate in the art walk. And yeah, like others have said, it's just been really a great experience for me as a new artist to just show my work and talk about my work. And so I appreciate having the venue to do that. So thanks for what you guys do. That's all.
We
Can you
love
hear
having
me?
you. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And
Yes.
can you see me or no?
No.
I cannot
That's okay.
see myself. Okay. My name is Marietta Cohen. I'm from Bulgaria originally. We moved to San Diego 2.5 years ago, and I paint with acrylics and watercolors. My superpower used to be flowers, but I decided to move away a little bit and try different things. So now I'm just exploring everything, figuring out some new directions. And thank you so much for the opportunity. Last few times that I participated were great. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you for everybody for joining in on that. Again, there's gonna be, and how many? There's like 50 artists in the art walk this year or this go around.
There's 58 of us. 58 this time.
That's amazing. So there's lots more to meet. Yeah, it's really exciting. Okay, cool. So at this point, we're going to jump into the speaker section of the evening. which I'm taking the reins on this first one. So the way that it's going to work is we're going to have it'll be about 15-minute talk by a featured speaker every month. And then when the speaker's done, then we'll have sort of like a question and answer time period. And yeah, I mean, again, the intention here is just to bring out new ideas and then kick them around together and turn them over philosophically and think about them all. Um, so, and all the speakers are going to have a different topic. We've got them. Lynn's going to be next month talking about community building. And then, yeah, each month we're going to have a new speaker, and it's going to be really cool. I'm very excited for it. So, I'm taking the reins on the first one. When I was thinking about what I was going to talk about, the thing that's been really strong in my mind recently is the concept of intention. And so the talk is called "What's Your Why?" Because the farther I go along in my art career, the more I'm seeing that having an intention, having a why in anything just gives you more grounding. Oh, Marietta is gone. More grounding, more power, more meat on the bone to chew on in terms of art. So yeah, that's why I chose this topic. Now again, my name is Taylor Gallegos. I am a painter. I am a drawer. I've been drawing and painting since I was a little kid. I now do murals. I've been full-time doing murals for about 8 years now. I got a Bachelor in Fine Arts from Colorado State with a focus in drawing and painting. That was back in 2006. I've been selling art throughout the years. I always needed side jobs until I got the mural job. I started doing murals and have been all in since then. I've done countless art shows in my time as an artist now, and this whole concept is something that I've developed through that experience, all those different shows, different work with clients, art experiences. So disclaimer, this is my opinion, it's my perspective. There's lots of perspectives in the world. I'm definitely not saying that any of this is correct or right. It's just my viewpoint. So I definitely welcome any questions and challenges to any of these ideas when it's the Q&A section. Please do. Ivy, you look so awesome right now. It's so good. No, it's essentially what we're doing here is we're defining our intentions. Our intentions drive the boat. They create the roadmap for where we're going to go with our careers, with our lives, with our art. So I'm going to start by throwing out some questions at everybody, and I want to let you have those questions kind of bounce around in your mind a little bit. So here we go. Why are you participating in the Oceanside Art Walk? Why have you joined in on this Creatives Circle call? What do you appreciate? What?
I was going to say I joined it just to get my art out there, to get more well known since I just moved to Oceanside, and hopefully increase my sales as well.
I love it. Nice.
Thank you.
Perfect. All right, we're gonna keep going. We got what do you appreciate about the art scene of Oceanside? Why is art important in the world? Why is art important to those who appreciate your art and art in general? Here's a big one. Why do you make art?
You want me to continue? I'll go again. No.
No. No, thank you, Susan. This is just for you to think about in your head. And I got one more. Um, why have you chosen to become the artist that you are? So these are questions to ask. These are questions that I like to ask myself. And then when I go into an art show, when I'm starting a new project, I want to ask myself these deep things. What's going on? What's the why behind what I'm doing? Um, I feel that by connecting to those answers inside of you, that is as if you are building a home. You can't do it on sand, right? You have to dig down and find bedrock. And when you find the bedrock, that's a solid grounding for you to build on. And then you can create a solid structure. And then from there, you can build a skyscraper, you can build a tiny home, you can build a mansion, anything you want, but you have to find that bedrock. And by doing that, it gives you a lot of power. So, all these questions and these answers give you power. And the way that I was seeing it, there's three main avenues that I feel like it gives you that power. The first one is that it can help you create connection between, well, to yourself, and then also to your the art walkers, the people that are going to look at your art, the artistic community around you, potential buyers, other artists, etc. Um, Another way is that it helps you create a game plan and an approach for your exhibition of artwork, for your setup, for your booth space, for your website, for your Instagram, for basically any way that you're going to want to present your art. Knowing the why is going to help you with the how and the what. And then the final thing that I would say is ultimately the most important element is that these questions and answers help you connect to the artist inside of you and yourself as a person, who you are. Because ultimately your artwork is a reflection of your heart, soul, mind, fun, curiosity, creativity, you name it. Your art is you. And these questions and answers help you connect to that you. So to dive in on the connection element, by pondering these questions, it's going to naturally create a connection between everybody. So like when people come up to your booth on Friday, with these connections, these answers, these questions, when people come and say like, well, what's your work about? Like you've already dove in and you've already thought about it, questioned stuff, and then you are able to share that more readily. It's all already on the top of your mind. You're already thinking about it. So it's just like a natural talking point from there. From these questions come stories, concepts, ideas, lessons, values, morals, etc. All of these things are going to bring up that really, again, help with those talking points, help with the connections. Maybe your why of these paintings is because of a childhood memory, and that gives somebody else a connection point. Maybe they have a childhood memory that they connect with you on, so that it creates these natural connections. And then they also push your work a lot deeper, which helps develop your work and then makes it more enticing for people. The more developed your art can be, the more layers there can be, the more like a concept can be woven together. More, yeah. Susan's gonna have to go in another 10 to 15 minutes. That's okay. We should be done with this part by then, but we're recording all this so you can jump on later and check it out. But yeah, so the deeper you can dive, the more of that bedrock you can find, the more stories, the more connections, the better things can be interwoven together. Your concepts can be layered tighter. Compositions can be sharper and more thought out and more developed. So the next thing it does, back to the formulating of your intention, your game plan, your approach. These answers can help guide your setup and your display. So, for example, if your intention with being on the art walk is to maybe like try to sell a certain painting, then you know that, and then you're going to set it up in a certain way. Maybe you're going to want to accent this one painting, and maybe all the elements in some other paintings are going to look this way. All the eyes are looking over to this one painting. You're creating this like energy vortex to the piece that you're trying to sell. Or maybe you're trying to sell $5 stickers. And so what you're going to do is you're going to set up your setup around those stickers being the focal point. Um, Asking yourself all these things, why? Or maybe you're not trying, like sales isn't your main focus. Maybe you're trying to get people to follow you on Instagram. So maybe you can create a game for people to play that gets them to like do a scavenger hunt on your Instagram or something. Really, the possibilities are endless, and it all comes down to your intention. Your intention is going to create the situation for you that's then going to lead to your whole setup. Yeah, and then that also helps you interact with your art walk audience. Uh, like your game plan again, or maybe what you don't want, maybe what you want to do is you want to connect with people and you want to meet people. So then you can, if that's your main focus, maybe you come up with like a question that you ask everybody, and that gets people thinking about artwork in this way or that. But then, so like your intention maybe is focused on the actual people that are walking in your booth. Um, yeah. That's about that little section there. Now, the really fun thing, I would say that again, the really important part is the depth of your artwork. And by asking yourself these questions, that's where you can really dive as deep as you want to go. You can layer things as deep as you want. As artists, we can do anything we want. We don't have a lesson plan that we're following. We can make literally anything. But that can also be, and for me at times in my painting career, that's been really sort of paralyzing for me because when everything's possible, then like where do you even go and what do you even do? Um, so in those moments, you can start with the intention. Maybe you have no idea what you're going to paint, but then like you can ask yourself, well, what am I thinking about right now? What am I passionate about? What am I interested in about? And then that can start to conjure up concepts, which can then conjure up imagery and ideas and maybe processes. So starting with that intention can get you going down the path where you want to go, and then things pick up speed from there. Um, let's see. Yeah. Another thing that intentions, questions, answers can do is that they can create through lines in series. Like, um, yeah, we got to see all of those paintings earlier from Susan, and it seems like, I mean, Susan, great work on. You basically told us your why and like a main driver for you, which is making people smile and bringing good energy to people. And like,
Yes.
you just showed us your artwork for 30 seconds, and we can clearly see that your art is very in alignment with your intention, and what you're doing is all tied together beautifully. So, and it's a
Thank
reflection
you.
of you. Like in knowing you for 17 minutes now, we can see that like you are your art and your art is you. And I would say that when that's happening, that's an extremely successful series of art. And and the
Thank
series,
you.
yeah, definitely. The series sits together so nicely because there is that underlying intention. So every time you come to the canvas, you don't have to like think like, okay, I'm starting from square one. What do I even do? Like you just did that, and that, and they're sitting together with like the colors are vibing, the styles vibing, the concepts are vibing, so
No.
that you can build on that and just do another um, from there. Yeah, they can really like guide your artistic expressions, especially when you get down to the nitty gritty. I mean, like even conceptually, if your why is like to, I don't know, I'm thinking like keep things simple and just like do what's essential. Maybe that's that's your why, then even down to your brush strokes and the application of the paint, maybe like if that's your intention, you probably don't want to have a ton of like really thick globby paint that's like all laid over each other like a Van Gogh. You're gonna want to do like a minimalist, clean line, like simplified, like clean canvas with a main element that's like just simple and direct. So yeah, it can like having that why can really just like help every aspect of your art as you're making it every step of the way. It's like having a guideline for like a branding guideline or a style guideline in any other creative fashion. Um, let's see. Yeah, I just feel like being intentional with your artwork, even if your intention is to be free flowing, just to know what your intention is like can be super helpful for you. And this can help like in structuring your concepts. It can help you in connecting with like larger art historical movements. Because there's a lot of recurring themes throughout art history. And let's say you want to do something that's like really ornate and beautiful. Well, like Art Nouveau did that also, and then times in the Renaissance did that. And like you can start to look up what, like Sarah said, everything's been done. So you can look at how other people did it, and then you can take that and twist it and then add your own spin on it. And then you're not just talking, your art isn't just coming from you in this moment, it's also connecting back to, Gustav Klimt, and then before that, like whoever, blah, blah, blah. Which is another point where you can connect with viewers because maybe they're going to see like, oh man, I really see Frida Kahlo in your work. Like, well, that's cool because I'm thinking about the same things, and again, more depth, more interwoven connections, more concepts, just give more for everybody in every situation. Even if your concept is minimalism, you do it intentionally, it's on point. So, for me personally, my intention this year has been to connect with my local community. I do a lot of projects for murals all over the place for private clients, but I'm kind of all over like the San Diego, Southern California, and then up to the Bay Area and to Denver, but I'm not here making connections with the local community, with the people that I live around. And, I've lived here since 2011 and haven't really dove into the local art community in any significant way at all. So that's my intention. That's why I'm part of the Art Walk. That's why I'm joining the Art Walk committee. That's why I'm going to all these meetings. And that's how I'm setting up my booth because I want to connect with people. I'm going to have it set up so that I can sell artwork. I've got a strategy, a game plan there, but really what I'm trying to do is meet people, and I'm trying to have them meet me, and I want to have a nice engagement and a cool experience for everybody in my booth. So that's my main focus, and I'm going to set up my whole thing around that. And again, everybody can have their own focus and their own concepts, and like that'll play out in whatever they want. Um, and then it was cool doing this talk and thinking about my involvement here in all of this. Like what I did is I kept asking, like, what is the why beneath that? And that's a cool thing about these questions is you can ask like, what's your why for doing this? And then you will answer. And then you can ask yourself, and why is that important? And then that'll take you a layer deeper. And then you can do it again, and you can do it again. And it's actually a really fun game to play with people. Like if you ask them about their art, or you can ask them about their job, or a hobby or whatever, and you can say, well, what do you do? Great. Okay, why is that important? Great. Why is that important? And you keep on going. And it was neat to see what answer came up for me, and really connecting and doing these talks and being part of this. For me, the why is that I believe in the transformative power of art. I believe that through art, we can all transform as a person by seeing art, by talking about it, by making it, by sharing it. I feel like it's a force for good in the world, and that people that make it are awesome. Uh, and I want to see more and more people make it, and I want people to be empowered to do well with it. So yeah, I just really, at the core of it, I believe that the more art, the better. So, yeah, ask yourself why and dive deep. So, at this point, if anyone has any questions, you can ask questions. You can also make a comment. You can say like in things in the form of like, well, what resonated for me in that, this is what I think about it or how I feel about it. You can share your reflections. Maybe this brings up an idea or a memory or anything. But yeah, we just want to have this be sort of like an open, free flow question and answer conversation. Lynn, I feel like you have a question or something.
Muted. Okay. Well, I was going to say real quick, I liked that you also used the word intention too, especially for participating in things. Like, what is your intention for paying for a booth at the art walk? If it's to meet people, then if you decide to do something, ask yourself, okay, is this going to allow me to meet people or is this going to do something else? If your goal are sales, then when you're setting your booth up, like you said, okay, if my goals are sales, maybe I need to concentrate on having multiple things at different price points for people. I think that's really important to like ask yourself why you're doing it, and then your actions that you do, make sure they align with that. And if they don't, then don't do it. Like do keep your actions that are aligning with your intention for participating. And as far as why, I mean, art, I think it's so important to know why you're doing it because people do connect with the story. And it definitely is something I struggle with because I'm not really a journaler or anything like that. So it is important to really like just write about it and again keep asking why am I doing it. Well, I love color. Okay, why do you love color? Why do you so yeah, I do think it's really important and a lot of artists ignore it, and I think it does them a disservice. So that's my comment.
Why do you love color?
It brings joy to people, or at least it brings me joy. Um, I mean, for me, a lot of my why is I do paint to bring joy to people. I feel that what we focus on, we manifest, and I feel that's very important to bring beauty into the world. I think there's a lot of, especially now in this time, a lot of negativity, a lot of ugliness, and people are scared. And I think it's important that, I believe we are a collective consciousness, and I do believe that everybody focus on what you want in the world, not what you don't want in the world. So it's like for me, I want more beauty and joy in the world. So I paint things that bring beauty and joy to people.
I definitely feel beauty and joy when I look at your artwork.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, mission accomplished.
Thanks.
Taylor, I really appreciate your presentation. And what I've noticed, because I've been to a couple of your Friday night events down the street, and I've seen how you interact with people, and you're so, genuine and authentic. And I could tell that you're aligned with your purpose and your values and your intention is another way of saying it. So I love how you engage with people. I've watched you, talk to people about, like you were saying before, all of the layers of, your art and kind of the backstories about it, and it just really is endearing and it draws people in. So the storytelling is, um, you can always go back to your own stories and be natural. And, once you've identified kind of what those inspirational stories are, people love to hear that. So thank you for being a great example of that.
Thank you. Yeah, and as a writer, like the power of story is so and like so strong. And that's really, I mean, when people buy art, there's one element of people buying it because maybe it's beautiful in this way or that. They like the colors, they like this kind of animal, they like whatever. But a lot of what people do, like they're also investing in the artist and the story and like how it's like compelling for them. So the more of that you can give to people and share with people, the more chance it is they're gonna connect with something.
I know at the art walk, when I go around and visit the other vendors, it's just evokes emotion in me. When I see, your paintings, I'm just like, oh, like I feel a certain way. It's different every time too, which is really cool. And that's what we want. That's more connection, more community.
Who else has got something?
Well,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Celine.
sorry, Sarah. Um, I agree with everything that was said, and it resonated a lot. Um, the intention for me is always there. When I go there, it's really to share, number one, but also about the story, because for me it's been a tool for healing. And I just, start taking the colors and just let my hand do the job. And what came out, I was like, whoa. So it's also to inspire others that anybody can do it, because I think we're all artists. And I think this is part of my purpose and journey, to invite others to say, if I could do it, you can too. And I know it's probably very rewarding when you start selling your art. I just stole a little few things, and it's not about that. For me, it's really to see the reaction, and that actually people stop at my booth. For me, that's already huge, that they take the time to look at what I've done and compliment me and see their reaction. So it's not about, oh, I want to have this in my home, but this is like something I think it's still talking to them, but it's another step to buy, especially when it's painting. It's different. Like candle, it's easy to sell, jewelry, but when it comes to a painting, it's a story. So I think as an artist, we have to be patient, and that's all. So this is more my intention, to really share and inspire others to use art as a healing tool, because I think we all agree here. We all are in this journey, I'm sure. So that's what I wanted to share.
Nice.
So I'd said a question in the chat for Taylor. I was just really curious on if there was a particular breakthrough that happened that helped you do full-time art murals. Like, what was it, a mindset shift? Was it an actual connection that was made? Was it moving somewhere? Was it a certain painting you did, that kind of thing? Or was it just a role?
Yeah. Great question. So I met a new friend, and she was a muralist, and we had sort of complementary skill sets. Um, and so she needed some, like I'm pretty solid at portraiture, and she needed some portraits in this mural. So I started working with her, and then she needed more help because she was super busy. started working for her there, and then she moved away like 2 years ago or 2 years after that. So I got basically fully trained up with the how and like what paint to use and all these techniques, and then I was kind of like thrown out of the nest on my own. Um, but essentially, what happened and is like the thing about murals is there's a what's that? Oh, the thing about murals is that there's a direct like commercial application for it. There's like fine art is something that people will want for their house and different things at different times, but murals are something that like businesses will buy, and so that really helped out. And um, yeah, I always suggest to artists like if there's a commercial application that they can put their work towards, that can definitely be helpful. It can take all sorts of forms and shapes.
Well, that's a really great story of your journey. Thanks.
Yeah. See, Lynn's got a jet. What else? What else are people thinking? Celine, one thing that you said made me think that, like you said that your work is about like healing and processing and working through emotions is what I gathered from that. And we as the artist are sort of like the I don't know, we're like the manifestation of what everybody in society experiences, but the rest of society doesn't do actions like we do to like express things and through things with this process that we have, which is making art. So I feel like uh, that's a really cool, like that's a really powerful why for you. And I could see a lot of people like resonating with that, connecting with that, seeing themselves in you and seeing themselves in your work. Um, it's really cool.
Thank you. Yes, it's the beginning.
Yeah, I feel like the why questions in life are just so important. Going into things with an intention helps
Yeah.
helps you to kind of set a foundation, instead of just jumping right in. It's fun to be spontaneous though in some ways, but it's nice to have a foundation. So setting an intention is a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, like you can have the intention to be spontaneous. Like you can, I'm this weekend, I don't have a plan. I'm going out in
Right.
the world and who knows where
Right.
it's gonna go. Like setting an intention doesn't mean that you're always like, I'm structured and I know exactly what I'm doing always. You can
Yeah,
you can plan for the unstructured too.
I like that. That's a good idea.
I want to add that to that because I liked it. The intention, because this is what I do. I like to be prepared. I own businesses before, so I'm an artist, but I can be very organized too. So I like to have things ready if and like I had the very first one, I had my little packaging. I had like as much as I could, but also the expectation of not selling anything as well. So this could be your intention is getting prepared, but without expectation. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Being open to whatever happens.
Yeah, that's awesome that you brought that up. And that was actually something that was kind of swirling around my mind that didn't make it in here is that through all this time and all these art shows that I've ever had, at I've gone in with intentions with like hopes to sell artwork at times, but really you can't control if someone else is going to buy your painting, buy your artwork, buy anything. So to put your like attachment on an outcome that has something that you have no control over is really setting yourself up for a challenging experience. So with my art shows now, what my like I'll set an intention that's around something that I can control. Like I'm gonna go into this excited and looking to meet, as many people as I can. Or I'm gonna go into this and I'm gonna tell the story of this painting or whatever. If it's something that is within your reach and not based on some sort of like outside metric of success, then that can like just free you up from like the burden of like, what if it doesn't happen?
Mm. And then when it does happen, it's that much more exciting.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love watching people when they leave the art walk and they've sold a piece, they got this biggest smile on their face, and it just brings my heart so much joy because I think they didn't anticipate that success. It just came.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good way to go in. And then yeah, it's
Yeah.
all a bonus.
Yeah.
Andrea, you and I have been talking a lot about like the why and your art. Andrea and I became art friends not too long ago, and we've been kind of diving in and like workshopping her approach and stuff like that. Do you want to talk about your why a little bit?
Yeah. I feel like what's so funny is like I feel like from what everybody said, like I've felt similar things, and I don't remember who said it, but it's like kind of like a collective consciousness. Like we're all kind of working towards the same goal. And so I resonate with everybody, like the healing part, the transformative part, and just bringing joy to people and sharing, um, yeah, what you love to do and sharing and inspiring other people while you're doing it. And so I feel like that's part of like my whole why as well. And um, yeah, yeah.
Nice. Thanks. Well, yeah. Anyone else have any other thoughts?
I had a thought about the intention part. I was thinking like intention can be like, I think Kizzy was talking about it being like you guys were, Kizzy and Taylor were talking about like it being a foundation. And I also like it'd be also like kind of like the guardrails. So having an intention of like structure, geometric kind of whatever. And then you go into it with like, okay, but I'm going to be totally chaotic in this structure or something. And
The
so,
guardrails that keep you.
yeah, exactly. So I was just saying, like, it could also work in that way too, I think. Like, that's what came up for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Totally, because when you're painting, like again, you can go any direction you want, and like if you don't have the rails or the intention, then like you might just like fly way off that way, and which is
Mm,
okay at times if that's what you want to do, if you're trying to,
right.
but you might lose like the whole thing that you were going after in the first place.
Well, that's what, and like, even like looking at the piece behind you, it has like a lot of abstract, yeah, just like a lot of abstract elements. And then it has the structure of the doorway and then like the clouds, like the whole structure of it. So yeah, stoked.
The gatekeeper.
From a musical standpoint, with jazz, they talk about when you do a jazz song, like you sing it the way that it's taught, in the first part, and then there's a solo with the musician, and then the second part you can just go freestyle and do whatever you want, add your ad libs or your oohs and ahs, just go crazy. And I think it kind of leaves room for like there's a foundation, that intention, and then you just do your own thing, and then the whole thing ends up being this beautiful masterpiece. So yeah, that's on the musical tip.
Yeah, which is so closely related. Like music
Yeah,
and visual art are definitely like the same
yeah,
thing, just different.
art wise, yeah, for sure.
I think I can resonate with Celine being more business minded. She goes out and she's totally organized, but she has no expectation. To me, that's the most beautiful thing about art is that it is the love of someone else that's going to fall in love with your art. It's not necessarily something that's going to happen right away. And to have that feeling, even though she's prepared, she's willing to just say, it might or might not happen. I think that's incredible. But I feel the same way, Kizzy. I'm so excited when I see people selling, and it makes my heart sing as well.
Yeah.
I think that's why we do this. I think that's why we
Yes.
continue, why Bridget and I got back into it after a break. And it's something that
Mhm.
just draws you. You want to help, you want to see the best of someone come out.
Yeah, to be a part of making that happen
Yeah,
is beautiful.
it's really
Mhm.
special.
Yes, indeed.
And I think Oceanside has grown a lot since we have started this. I've been in Oceanside since 97, seen a lot of change. And this is just such a powerful between the love lock, between the statues, between the murals, between the art walk, and all the art is coming together. So it's come a long way in 14 years.
Mm.
And just to be a little part of it makes me very happy.
That's awesome.
I want to ask something. Um, so we talked about the expectation of not selling anything. I don't think I have prices on any of my painting. I do out on my photography and my candles, and I have that kind of a price range. So, and there's another thing also that's interesting is some pieces, and I'm sure you all feel that you almost don't want to sell them because they're like it's like a child for you or something like we get attached because it's special or because there was a story behind it. So I want to ask Taylor, because you're the speaker, like how did you start deciding the price, and if you have a way, like how did you detach from certain pieces that you really loved yourself?
Great questions. Um, I would say that every artist's, I mean, there's kind of like standard pricing out there in the
Mm-hmm.
world, but everything is so specific to like different regions and different cities and different, like you might be able to sell a painting in downtown LA at a big gallery for a much higher price than you could, you know, I don't know, in a small town. But it's really like relative to yourself and your community that will be buying the art. And I would say that it's going to start lower and then build up over time. And it's all an experiment. I'm constantly kind of like playing with pricing in different situations and different shows and try what I've been trying to do. I recently just went through all my drawings and then pulled out a bunch of my favorites, and then I framed some and I put a bunch of them in sleeves. And I've been having these little art shows at my little studio that I had over here, and I've been playing with pricing and seeing like, okay, will people buy it for this price? Will people buy it for a little bit lower, a little bit higher? Like how are like where I'm trying to like kind of gauge what like an equilibrium is. Um, and yeah, so like with a lot of pricing, you can kind of like try to find your place. And I would say at the beginning, start lower, maybe look around at everyone else at the art walk and kind of be like, okay, like that one, I could see this, my painting of this being sort of like that, and that price feels good to me. And it's totally up to you. You can price it, your art, whatever you want and whatever feels good. Now, that attachment that you're talking about to certain pieces, that's value right there. You have a connection to that piece. You feel something for that piece. That brings the price up, you
Okay.
know? And like so let's say for example you have a series of paintings and like you think you want to sell them all for $100, but there's one that's like really like means a lot to you and was like a breakthrough piece. Maybe that one's $500. Maybe it's 1,000. Maybe it's 5,000. Whatever. Like, I see it as, I mean, I definitely have connections to certain pieces, and so I'm not going to let them go at like a price that's too low. But if they do sell, then that's more money to pay for more art supplies, a studio, a this, or that, like whatever, whatever art stuff you want to do, like it's going to fund that, and like it's all part of the flow of being an artist.
Thank you.
Yeah, does
I
that answer everything?
yes. I actually, because I haven't technically, I have not sold any of my painting yet. So, but the one I was attached, what I did, I put like a sword on it,
Yeah.
just to like, okay, don't touch that yet, you know. But um, and the next question is, do you? And it probably varies from artists, but do you actually put a price tag on each painting you have?
I do,
Okay.
because if you don't, then you're probably not going to sell it. But
Mm,
if you do, then then at least there's a chance.
okay, so that's
Like
what I need to change.
yeah, because that was one thing that I did at one of the shows in my studio one of the Fridays ago is I didn't price anything, and I wanted to see if
Hmm.
people would just like ask and inquire and then go from there, and maybe that would work better. Sometimes I'm like maybe the pricing is like I don't know, does a disservice to it. Maybe it like makes it about money when really it should be about like the connection and the art. And that's another thing that comes down to your intention. Maybe you don't want the show to be about money at all. Maybe you don't want to sell anything. Maybe you just want to talk about the feeling and the concept and everything. So like, yeah, maybe don't price things. Um, but if there is a part of you that does want to sell it, uh, yeah, I I feel like if you do want to sell it and you have prices, then that's something that's a very easy like visual cue for your guests of their show to just kind of walk around and like, okay, and then they look at the price and they look at the painting and they think about like where they would hang it in their house and do I have that money that I want to spend and blah blah blah.
Thank you. That helps. I'll marinate on it.
I have a question.
What's that?
Do, do you ever go down on the price? Like, yeah, change it to where it's lower if you find that it's not selling or anything?
Totally. Totally.
Yeah?
If it's sitting on your wall and you want it to move, yeah. And yeah, and that's the thing. It's totally up to you. And you could put like a little like discount sticker on it, or you could just lower the price. Um, the only place where like lowering prices would be a problem is if you are represented by a gallery and you have your art in a gallery and it's priced at a certain price. And
Yeah.
then you on your website or at an art show or something like that that you're doing, if the pricing is lower, that if somebody saw that and made the connection and looked you up at the gallery and they saw that there was a discrepancy, that could make the gallerist very upset because then they are
Mm-hmm.
going behind their back and changing pricing. So
Mm-hmm.
the only time that I would say walk carefully is if you are represented by a gallery. And if you are, you can still change pricing. You just want to talk to the gallerist about it and make sure that you're on
First.
the same page and that you're like a unified front. But like,
Okay.
but you can change pricing show to show. Um, you can also, like a lot of times going into an art show, the pricing is what it is. But a lot of people will want to negotiate. And if they feel like they're getting a deal, then maybe that'll like help inspire a purchase. So before going into a show, you can have all your prices on everything. And then maybe in your mind, you can say to yourself, all right, I'm willing to go down 10%, or maybe I'm willing to go
Mm-hmm.
10, 20%, but they have
Mm-hmm.
to ask for it. And maybe I'll say, I'll go 20%, but you have to buy two or something like whatever. Um, if you kind of have like a structured game plan for yourself, uh, then that can help so that you're not like caught in the moment when you're in like a negotiation with somebody and then you're like caught off guard.
And do you feel like you have to explain why it's a certain price? Like if it's rather high, do you? Because sometimes I wonder to myself, I wonder what made them come up with this price. Like why, But then I don't know. I'm not as attached to it because I know that time goes into play and you know materials and whatnot.
Yeah. Um, Yeah, I mean you can, but also I feel like it almost like cheapens it and then makes it so that you
Mm-hmm.
have to like sell your
Yeah.
value.
Yeah,
And
I don't
Right.
really feel like artists have to explain their pricing. And I feel like, Taylor was saying, once you're like showing in some shows and some galleries, it is good to kind of stay consistent. And sometimes
Right.
it's good, like some artists do like square foot, linear inch, just to keep it consistent so you don't have to explain
Oh, yeah,
it.
yeah,
So you're
yeah.
like, if somebody says, why did you price it that way? You could just say, my paintings are X amount of dollars per linear inch. And when you have a favorite one, you don't have to paintings that I did a long time ago that I won't sell just because I'm attached to it for some reason.
Yeah.
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 Taylor, has anyone ever asked you that question? Like, why is it that price? And like, how do you respond if they do?
definitely people have definitely asked me that because especially people who are not artists are curious like why does it cost that? How did you come up with that? What's going on? So what I generally say is the pricing is a combination of the costs, my time, my energy,
Yeah.
and also the magic,
Yeah.
like the
Mm-hmm.
effect, the like, because the magic element or the effect or you know, the energy of a piece, that's unquantifiable.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, especially in like a society where like people are used to buying like a kitchen remodel and it's going to cost this and there's the materials and there's the labor and there's the this and the that and that's the bottom line. Well, that's not art. Art has this whole other level of experience that goes along with it. And it's it's like subjective and there's like a magic and like some people see it and some people don't and like if they don't see the value in your art well they're not your clientele but the people that do they're the ones that you're aiming at and they'll feel it and they'll understand and like the value like someone walks up and sees Celine's paintings, and like maybe they went through the same thing that Celine went through, and like in that moment, in seeing Celine work through her stuff that she was going through, maybe that like creates the aha moment that helps them have the breakthrough that like changes their life. What's the value of that? How much money can you put on that? Like that's really up to Celine with the value of her art.
And they're not just buying that one painting either. They're buying the paintings that you threw away that didn't work, the paintings you painted over. I mean, I like when people ask me, how long did that painting take you? And I tell them my whole life, because that painting is an accumulation of everything I've ever done,
Yeah.
whether it's art or not art. It's, it's our lives. We put our lives into our work. And so, and the people that resonate with your art are usually the people that resonate with your art don't ask, why is it that much? Which is why story too isn't so important.
Yeah. Yeah, and like their in your life experience, that's what has led to that whole thing. And again, like it ties back to you and you as an artist, you as a person.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, um, for when you go somewhere, like maybe in Morocco, and you're at a food market and you want, food for the price of whatever, you can negotiate. But when it comes to art, I almost feel it's almost disrespectful in some aspect. It depends how it's done, but it's like it's you, it's your heart. And you really are putting yourself out there, and somebody trying to negotiate that, because I only had one person ask me how much was and I had to think, and I was like, okay, now I have to come up with something, and it was one of my favorite one. And I'm like, well, I think it's going to be at that starting point around that. And she was like, well, that's actually super reasonable, but I don't have that money. So that was a good thing for me. And I think if she would have started to talk it down, I would be like, well, because I think I started at the lower part. So I think you have to own also what you put out there. And I love what Don said about it's your whole life. It's not because it took you an hour to do that painting, what came before that. And that's such a great point. So to all the artists out there, like, know your worth.
Yeah.
You know, we're not here to bargain. It's just like this is a big deal. Unless you're completely unreasonable, that's a different story. But I think I don't think people should ask an artist to really change their price. It's personal. If they don't like it, just then don't buy it. That's my opinion.
The only time that I feel different about it is when someone's like really moved by something and they absolutely love it, and they also just like flat out don't have the money for it. That's a time where I will be like, okay, here, it's yours, or what do you got? Then it's different. But if you're like if someone's negotiating and trying to get you to take off like an extra 10% and whatever, and they have the money, they're just trying to like wheel and deal you, that's different.
Like if somebody's crying over your art, would you,
Right.
but couldn't afford it all the way, maybe you would give them a little break.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
You
figure
know,
some, yeah, figure something out.
figure something out. Hmm.
there's also one thought about the not wanting to sell a painting of yours because it's a very important thing to you. And
Mm.
I've played with this concept and have some pieces that are set up like this. I call it archive pricing, where it's like 5 times more than it normally would be. Because,
Right.
Don, you got those paintings that you don't want to sell, but like, what if you got 50
Well,
grand for it tomorrow? Would
well,
you pay
sure.
50 grand for it? Like,
Yeah.
there is a price
Of
for
course. Yes.
it,
Yes. There's always a price.
Archive pricing.
archive pricing. Like,
That's
you can
good.
have it, but it's gonna be
It's gonna
expensive.
cost
And
you.
I'm going on vacation because of it or whatever.
Cashing in.
I don't know if anyone else has this feeling, but I've grown up with this art talent, and my why has always been a mystery. It's more of a push from the universe, and I want something out there, the power that gave it to me, the talent, to tell me why. And I love your question. And it's always popping up to me. Why was I given this? Why am I making these? Why do I have 100 paintings? And why do I keep making more? I don't know yet. And I'm trying to follow the push and go with it and wait, wait for some sort of answer. But the question is even really important. Does anyone else feel that? No, just
I feel like
me.
that's awesome. And it's like, I mean, I feel like that's an opportunity for you. In my head, I'm thinking like maybe you should go on like a month-long art trip through like Europe or, where go to all the major museums and just like ask yourself the same question over and over again. And um, yeah, let's see. Marietta, do you wanna speak on it? But yeah, I mean, those types of deep dives, like you could also, I don't know, take a weekend somewhere and just like really explore it, write about it, journal about it. I don't know.
I
Yeah.
I think maybe you're not supposed to find out yet.
Mhm.
Just a thought.
Once I sell this archived piece right here, I'm going to go on a big journey.
There we
No,
go.
the why it is. The why can be really hard. I mean, I still think I think you can always dig more, you know? I don't think, and I think it can change too throughout your life, you know? I mean, I think most artists, paint because we have to. Like, if I'm grouchy, my boyfriend's like, you haven't painted in a while, I noticed. Why don't you go paint today? So yeah, I mean, definitely we're moved to do it. But yeah, I think journaling about it and like Taylor said, keep digging. Like, I paint because of this. Well, but why? Like, and it's hard. It can take, I mean, you really, you know, it does. It takes a long time to
I
actually,
wrote down
for
the word
some people
magic.
don't.
You guys said magic, and I wrote that down and circled it right here. And I'm like, it is making and watching the magic unfold, like as if it has a will of its own, and then having to put it out there so someone else can hold on to that magic in their own way and put their own magic into it and see their own experience of that magic. And I love that word magic. There's something about that happening.
Mhm.
It's good.
And that right there, I mean, that's like a string out of like the ball of yarn that like maybe that's all you need to start really tugging on. Like
Yeah.
if that's resonating with you, if that's ringing there, like start there, dive in,
Yeah.
keep going.
Yeah, I like the question that Taylor said when he's like saying like, why is it important? So maybe it's like, why is the magic important? And I don't know, diving into that.
Yeah, Sarah, why is magic important to you? Why is the magic of art important?
Um, it engages the present moment, and it's always the present moment where magic is happening. And if you can freeze that present moment and bring it into every present moment, you're going to find magic every time you walk by. Uh, what? um, something like that.
There we go.
I like that.
Yeah, and like Dawn said, I want to add just a little thing about that. The why is her boyfriend asking her to paint when she's grouchy. So maybe journal or notice the changes in you every time you do a painting. That could be just your why. It just from before you start and after you start. I'm sure there's emotion or feelings or something in your life that shifts that it has to be. So just a thought.
I think my why is it's just brings me sheer joy. It's a personal thing. It's actually selfish that when I create art, I'm not creating it for anybody else but myself. And when I'm in the moment of creating art, and it can be anywhere from, because I do a lot of different art. The photographing and in the digital stuff, but I also design clothes and sew and stuff like that. And all of that stuff that I do is just to keep me happy. Plain as that. And I don't have a I guess I'm in a different situation where I don't feel the need to put a price tag on my work because I'm not there to sell my work. Although if you want to pay me for my work, that's fine. But that's the point is it 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 completes me as a person to be in my field of art. Pure and simple. You throw everything else away, but I have to keep that.
That's awesome.
So, anyways, that's my why. So when you see me walking around, I have this huge smile on my face. I've been doing art.
That's what that smile is for. I feel the same way about music.
Yeah.
The same exact way.
Yeah.
Something that can make you lose time, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. A day can go by and you realize you didn't eat.
Yeah. Yeah. That's when you know you're having fun.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Ivy. I'm 100% with you, and I feel most artists are like that. We usually start creating. It's for us, and sometimes maybe you have a special request, or somebody wants a specific piece or whatever. But unless that now you're becoming so popular and so you know so famous that you have to keep on painting for your gallery, and that's a little pressure there, I feel like. But anyway, I think most artists, even musician and songwriter, I think they do it first for them, but then it goes out and there's the public that reacts to it, and that's the joy right there. The joy is shared. So but thank you. I love what you said.
Yeah, really art is multiple things. There's the process of making art, and then there's also the result of what you spent your time doing and the actions and everything like that. And the process of making art is like personal, it's internal, it's your experience. And really, we're talking about like flow state. And flow state, people achieve it in all different realms. You can get like runner's high or surfing, or like there's a million ways, crocheting. Like art is like a major way of doing that. And I mean, as a person who loves flow state, like time changes, your connection to the outside world changes, like you kind of go into like a sort of tunnel vision into whatever it is that you're focused on, and problems of the world either go away or you can like think about them while you're working and while you're doing your thing. So then it's like a processing aspect. And maybe that's what you're talking about, like what's going on with you a little bit, Dawn. And like um, when we don't when we don't connect to our flow state, then we're not the same version of ourselves. We're not, we don't feel the same. We don't experience life the same. So like, and that is magic. Flow state is like this magical state of existence that we as humans can get to. And so when that's part of the pricing of art is like you're not only buying this like result of my thoughts and ideas and intentions and all the actions, but like you're buying a physical record of flow state, of magic, of this like magical state of existence that the artist gets into.
Yeah, that's a gift. That's definitely a gift to purchase something like that.
Yeah, I've never honestly thought about it like that. Like I was just thinking, I was like, right when you said record, I thought of it like going to buy like a CD or a record. Like you go to buy a song and it's like you're buying that specific song in the whole album, like the series or whatever it is. Um, so yeah, that was really cool. I like that.
Flow state. Love it.
Mhm.
Bridget, what do you think about stuff?
Well, I used to be a computer programmer, and you can really get in the flow state when you do that. I would spend days in the flow state. But I've also, quilting and stuff like that. Yeah, I just love it when time disappears.
Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful thing.
But yeah, thanks to everybody for sharing. It's really been wonderful.
Yeah, this is amazing. Anybody have any closing thoughts or remarks on anything?
Good talk. Good talk.
Good talk.
Good talk.
Should we do the drawing? I
Oh
put
yeah.
everybody's
Oh
name
yeah.
on a piece
Oh,
of paper.
Bridget. Ooh.
Okay. Whoops. Kay. Did Kay introduce themselves? I don't know who Kay was.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
And they're gone.
Hmm. I say keep going.
Okay. Because I feel like Kay didn't introduce themselves, right? They came on later.
I thought
Um,
there were a few people that joined in that didn't.
Gilbert popped on for a second and then disappeared. I was like, where'd Gilbert go?
Oh, right on.
All right. Deborah. Deborah's gone, but Deborah was here for the whole thing for the first hour. So I will shoot her a email and let her know she's yay, has a spot for June.
Nice.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Congrats, Deborah.
Yay, Deborah.
Deborah.
Cool. Well,
Thank you for
I'd
doing
say
that.
that.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I want to thank you all for doing that because my frustration every art show is I want to go in each booth and see what's going on because I used to love like do all the art show before I actually did them.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I'm always thinking like how can we like, get to know who's there too. And I think this is a great way to really have time to express ourselves and our stories and get to know each other. I think it's wonderful.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
thank you very much.
And don't forget to plan to go to the after party at the library courtyard where we can all meet each other again.
And that's I saw that's new too. I'm excited.
Oh yeah, we get to dance.
We'll be doing that with Gilbert no matter why before.
I know.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah. Thanks
Thank
for
Night.
you.
everybody.
Joining
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank
Have
you.
a
Good
good
Thank
night.
night.
you.
Well done,
All right.
Taylor.